Hey everyone, it's Ann at Still City Scented. Hope everyone's doing awesome. Here at Still City Scented, we discuss artsy, weirdo, vintage, indie, and artisanal perfumery. If you like that, you are in the correct place. So let's follow up. I made a video yesterday about the fact I was cranky, needed to eat. Then listed several houses really that I know for a fact have more than one fragrance in their line, whether they're current or discontinued, that really just make my heart sing. So when I'm in a shitty mood, I'll go and really grab something from Picture of Fragrance or from Darren Allen, from Clandestine Labs, from D. Gray, from House of Matriarch, from Olympic Orchids. They tend to have profiles that I know will put me in a much better place than I might be currently. So you can use fragrance as your friend or your foe. Please choose to use it as your friend and everyone else's friend that's around you. That being said, I also mentioned Nicole Miller, EDP, as something I know that just would instantly brighten my spirit. So let's talk about Nicole Miller, EDP today. So we'll go through the brief house history, a mention of the notes of this fragrance, comparables, where I'd wear this, and then really how this makes me feel. It might not be in that order, but stay tuned. So Nicole Miller, let's start as a house. So she's really known more so for her fashion design than for her fragrance. So not being in the perfume marketing community or the fashion marketing community, obviously, I'm really curious as to how this works, right? Like if a brand launches, a clothing brand, let's say I make Angie's Threads, whatever, this hot, amazingly fantastic new clothing line that everyone wants to get. It's only sold at really exclusive boutiques, blah, blah, blah. Do you plan on launching a fragrance at the time of clothing launch or accessory launch, or do you wait until after? I feel like historically, houses were more measured and they waited until they had a significant other presence before they released fragrances. Now that's not the case, obviously, but they're, again, two separate worlds. So Nicole Miller's really fashion, and then we're talking about the fragrance game. So she only has 19 perfumes. Sorry, it's late. 9 perfumes in her database. 93 was this beauty in the first one, and her last one was 2024. She's released a plethora of fragrances recently from her house. I've not smelled any, honestly, except this one that we'll talk about today. So, a background on the house. I have nothing on Fragrantica, so I'm not going to go look for it. She's a fashion designer, mid-level fashion designer. I don't know any celebrities that rock Nicole Miller, but if you do, good for you because you have great fashion taste. So let's talk about the perfume. So this beauty, oh geez, telling you it's been a day. This beauty right here is Nicole Miller. Again, this is actually the parfum. So this bottle design was done by Nicole Miller and Pierre Denon. So Pierre Denon's in 1,000 beautiful bottles. Just every beautiful bottle you can think of is probably Pierre Denon. This is 1993, and this was last marketed by a company called Riviera Concepts. This is not this bottle. I really can't read this to save my life with my glasses, but it's not Riviera Concepts. It's the one before that. So the vintage bottles don't look that differently than the new bottles at all. You just have to look at the manufacturer. So if it's Riviera Concepts, it's probably a newer version, which is going to not be as strong as this EDP. The perfumer for this was a guy called Xavier Renard. The only other perfume that Xavier Renard has done is Havana for Men by Aramis. We'll talk about that some other time because it's absolutely fantastic in any formulation that you get, I think. It's an atypical tobacco scent. So this guy has released, in my opinion, 2 very good perfumes. And again, when I read him, I was like, I don't know who that guy is. Oh, Havana. He's only done 2. So I don't know if he left the game or what happened to him, but I wish he would have done more. That would have been great. So this is just so early 90s. So again, keep in mind the structure of some early 90s fragrances, right? They could have had aldehydes at the top sometimes. Then generally it was citrus and fruit in the top, right? So that opening really brings you in. This does the same, right? I spray it and it's like this really, it's like walking through a produce aisle of only fruit and then really herbaceous green things. So in the beginning, there are aldehydes, which keep it sparkly, but not for really long, right? Bergamot, coriander, green notes, and they're really fresh green notes. It's not like a coniferous green notes. Mandarin, orange, peach, and plum. So that fruity opening stays on my skin for at least an hour. It is so fantastic, and hence why, like, you know, it was early 90s just by the fruit cornucopia they have in the beginning of the note listing. The heart, though, goes floral, and then normally in the early 90s, the woods dominate the base, or some light musk, right? And here's no different. It's Damask rose, Carnation, Heliotrope, honey, iris. Don't know what kind of iris or jasmine. It's not terribly skanky, but it's not the most chaste jasmine either. Orchid, Tuberose, and Ylang-Ylang. So that floral heart just makes my inner bigger hair girl sing. Like, how amazing is this floral heart? And you really can't, in the cold anyway, when it's snowing again in Pittsburgh, so great. It's hard to differentiate the florals outside of really rose, iris, jasmine. It's not a really sweet fragrance either, though. So I feel like the honey and the other players are there really just to make everything mesh and blend well together. That heart lasts a few hours, and it's so intoxicating. Like, you get through this beautiful, so you're outside, right, and you're, produce aisle, whatever, and then you walk out of this grocery store into an amazingly well-tended flower bed. Just gorgeous, right? You can smell everything coming right off of this stamen, just absolutely beautiful, filling up your nose. It's fantastic, and the heat is even better. And then it moves to the base of amber, benzoin, cedar, musk, sandalwood, it's synthetic, tonka bean, vanilla, and vetiver. So the vetiver is definitely a bright vetiver. It's not dark Haitian vetiver. And the base is absolutely awesome too. So it's a really, really pleasant wearing experience, in my opinion, from top to bottom. And this stuff is very, very, very affordable, even in vintage formulations. I think it's like I think I paid $25 for this bottle. I'm sorry, this is the EDP, not the Parfum. I lied. So, yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, I think, in my opinion. Where you could wear this, I honestly think, depending on the number of sprays. So I would not get trigger happy with the sprayer initially until you figured out how the opening and the mid really work on your skin, because some people can be sensitive to that heavy floral heart. But again, I have like 4 sprays on my arm right now. Sprayed like half an hour ago. And it's very, very, very beautiful in my opinion. But also, again, wearing it, if you overspray, I would not wear it to sensitive nose places. Church, public transportation, hospital, doctor, school, etc. But if you underspray, I really feel like if you put this even under your clothes or even maybe 1 or 2 sprays, you could wear this really anywhere that you wanted to. But as I always mention, test it out on your skin first, please. And then comparables. So we have to go to Fragrantica for comparables because there's nothing that's listed at all on Parfumo. Now, Fragrantica, keep in mind, pulls their likes, or this perfume reminds me of, from an internal AI-based algorithm. So it's a very 1992 AI-based algorithm at that. So it's not always something that someone suggested something smelled like, right? It was like, oh, let's pull some notes together and let's put a fragrance there. They do that sometimes. So keep in mind that's not always the most accurate. And again, remember too that when you're looking at a perfume, when you're on Fragrantica, you can toggle that button between notes. So if you don't love a certain note and it's in a perfume, click on that toggle button to make it go from gray to turquoise, teal, whatever. And you'll see the breakdown of people have reported of what they smell the most. So it may not be your experience, but it is theirs. So Nicole Miller is compared to Fred Hayman 273, which I think is more sweet than this Nicole Miller. Bob Mackie, which is also a bombastic peach 90s fragrance. Chloe Narcisse, Spellbound, Jill Sander, etc. So it has a very, very voluptuous and, in my opinion, outstanding lineup of this perfume reminds me of, right? They're all early 90s florals. In the beginning, they're green, they're fresh, aldehydic, fruity. The middle's floral. They'll obviously all differ a little bit, but the base is predominantly, again, usually woods, usually musk, plus or minus a few other things. So this has been Nicole Miller, EDP. We talked about the house, we talked about the notes, comparables where I'd wear this, and then again, how it makes me feel. So this just makes me happy. There's no other way to put it. Like, it's so pretty, so wonderful, so beautiful. And again, it's like comforting throwback, right? So if you're of the age where you can remember smelling things in 93, which I know some of this audience is excluded from that, it just reminds you of that vibe, right? So in addition to the perfume smelling great, it's that endogenous hit you get of dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, whatever, from smelling fragrances like this and then having those past memory associations. So all good. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will talk to you again soon. Take care. Love you. Bye.